love and compassion grow among us, and goodness be our daily care. This day may we find well-being. This day may we discover the eternal strength that abides among us. This day may we be helped to a life that is whole. Amen.
You transcend our deepest thought and elude the keenest eye, yet all who dwell on earth may find you. Every creature's form proclaims your glory, for all that breathes is one creation, children of a single kingdom. Thus was it written of old, the sovereign God of Israel is the one whose dominion extends to all creation. The realm of law is the domain of freedom. Blessed is the law that sets us free to find gladness and joy. Praise be the power that makes for freedom, that blesses the house of Israel in the day of remembrance. We pause now for a moment of silent prayer. On page 67, we continue responsively with our prayers for peace. Words there are and prayers, but justice there is not, nor yet peace. The prophets said, in the end of days God shall judge between the nations. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Although we must wait for judgment, we may not wait for peace to fall like rain upon us. The teacher said, those who have made peace in their house, it is as though they have brought peace to all Israel, indeed to all the world. Peace will remain a distant vision until we do the work of peace ourselves. If peace is to be brought into the world, we must first bring it to our families and communities. The psalmist said,
Seek peace and pursue it.
Be not content to make peace only in your own household. Go forth and work for peace wherever men and women are struggling in its cause.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Sefer Chaim Beracha V'Shalom. Beracha V'Shalom U'Parnasa Tova. Beracha V'Shalom Yizacher v'Nikativ Lefanecha. אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני עושה every breath, each life, each spark, every light that emerges from every dark. This body, this voice, this energy. I just opened my eyes, it was granted to me. Given this space, given this time, given to all, uniquely mine. Every first and every last, all of the future, the present, and even the past. I am a wave, a rise and a fall, a singular drop in the ocean, connected to all. Given this space, given this time, given to all, uniquely mine. Given this space, given this time, given to all, uniquely mine.
Yontiv, Rosh Hashanah, birthday of the world. One day we have in the midst of our year to pause, to give ourselves a moment, a few hours even, enough at least to relax, to help with that perspective. So close your prayer books for a moment, put them away, and close your eyes as well. Take a deep breath and relax. Breathe in God's gift to each and every one of us, and breathe out our gift to this world. The gifts that we have, the blessings that we can think of, things that are there each and every day that in the hecticness, the busyness, the craziness of our lives, so often we pass by. Our tradition gave us this gift, a moment to celebrate creation of our world, to recognize things that happen so naturally that maybe we take for granted, and those things that don't happen so naturally that we build and create in our love and our kindness and our relationships. Connections we make as a community, as a people, that we should never, ever take for granted. That which is there each and every day, a part of who we are, a part of our breath, a gift, a blessing in our lives.
There is a love song of taking and giving, and singing and dancing in rhythm with all that is living. It's breathing out and breathing in, a life that is taken for granted again and again. Given this space, given this time, given to all uniquely mine. Given this space, given this time, given to all uniquely mine.
So we continue with our prayers, the tradition of Avinu Malkeinu, on page 69 of our prayer books as we rise together. Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu, our Father, our King, hear our voice.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu Lefanecha. Our Father, our King, we have sinned against you.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chamo Aleinu Va'al Ol Aleinu B'Tapenu. Our Father, our King, have compassion on us and on our children.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kalei Dever V'Cherev V'Ra'av Me'aleinu.
Our Father, our King, make an end to sickness,
war, and famine.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kalei Kol Tsar Umastin Me'aleinu. Our Father, our King, make an end to all oppression.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kodvenu B'Sefer Chaim Tovim.
Our Father, our King, inscribe us for blessing
in the book of life.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chadesh Aleinu Shana Tova. Our Father, our King, let the new year be a good year for us.
Avinu Malkeinu, Harem Keren Yisrael Amecha.
Our Father, our King, give strength to your people Israel. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu va'anenu, Ki ein banu ma'asim, asei manu tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshienu. Our Father, our King, be gracious and answer us, for we have little merit. Treat us generously and with kindness, and be our help.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Chamun Aleinu, V'yolol Aleinu, V'tapeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Kol Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Kotvenu, B'sefer Chaim Tovim. Avinu Malkeinu, Chadish Aleinu, Chadish Aleinu, Shana Tova. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chadish Aleinu, Shana Tova. Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu, Shema Kolenu, Shema Kolenu.
I love this time of year. There's an excitement and beauty in the air that's hard to miss. Temperatures start to drop, making it pleasant to sit outside during the day or to sit outside at night by a warm fire. Schools and activities are starting again, and there's a nervous excitement about what a new year will bring. College sports and professional football seasons are beginning, and Major League Baseball is winding up as teams contend for division play championships or a wild card spot for the playoffs, which means that great stories in athletics seem to be making their way back into the public sphere. I recently read one about 1930s and 40s Yankees manager Joe McCarthy. He was interviewing a coach who was being brought up to the majors from a farm team. "How much do you know about psychology?" McCarthy asked. The coach responded, "I took some classes in college." "So you think you're good?" "I don't know how good I am, but it's a subject that I've studied." "All right," McCarthy said. "I'll give you a test. A few years ago, I had a problem. So I went to my shortstop, Frankie Crosetti. 'Frank,' I said, 'I'm not satisfied with the way Lou Gehrig is playing first base. He's too lackadaisical. I want you to help me. From now on, charge every ground ball. When you get it, fire it as quickly and as hard as you can to first base. Knock Gehrig off the bag if you can. I don't care if you throw it wild or not, but throw it fast and make it tough to him. Cressetti balked and said, "I don't think Lou's going to like that." "Who cares what Gehrig likes?" McCarthy snapped. "Just do as I tell you." McCarthy then said to the coach, "That's the story. What conclusions can you draw from it?" The coach considered the matter for a moment and then answered, "I guess you were trying to wake up Lou Gehrig." McCarthy shrugged his shoulders. "You missed the entire point. There wasn't a thing wrong with Gehrig. Cressetti was the one who was sleeping. I wanted to wake up Cressetti." Today is Rosh Hashanah, our new year. And as a community, it's our wake-up call. Everything about today is supposed to remind us of this. The prayers that we recite are there to stir us, to move us, to remind us that there is work to be done. The blast of the shofar, it's our alarm clock. That piercing sound is our call to action. But like the farm team coach who missed the message, sometimes we aren't inspired. We fail to realize that we need to be awakened. We miss that wake-up call and we go through our day in that same apathetic way. We go through our routine trying to get through the day without any purpose, without any intent. Reminds me of a recent trip I took to a local orchard. As we were picking some apples, I spotted there was a farmer off in the field. He was just standing there, doing nothing, looking at nothing. As we were getting ready to move to go to another section, I noticed that he had moved a little bit, but was still just standing there, doing nothing, looking at nothing. So I walked over. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Oh yeah, everything is good," he said. "I'm just trying to win a Nobel Prize." I was puzzled. All during our apple picking, he had just been standing there. "How's that?" I asked him. "Well, I heard they give the Nobel Prize to people who are out standing in their field." Sorry, I had to. Because isn't that why we're all here tonight? Isn't that what Rosh Hashanah is all about? Even one of its other names, Yom Hadin, the Day of Judgment, teaches us this lesson. We're taught that today God sits and judges us. God judges our actions, our intentions, the people who we are, and decides what our fate will be in the coming year. It's why during this period we're supposed to do the same. We're supposed to do a cheshbon hanefesh, an accounting of our soul. We're supposed to think about what we've done right and how we've missed the mark. And then we're supposed to repent, to pray, and give tzedakah, to make up for our transgressions. And we hope that as part of that process that we can start this new year with a clean slate. And I would argue that this type of reflection, this contemplation that we do during these 10 days is different from how we assess ourselves during the remainder of the year. Because most of the time when we evaluate ourselves, we think about our skills. We think about the areas where we excel. We think about how we can be better at work or how we can be more competitive. Instead, this is a period that we should be thinking about who we are as individuals, how we portray ourselves, and how we are perceived by others. We should be wondering how each of us can be outstanding in our field. When I say field, I'm not talking about a profession. I'm saying, how can I be better at being me? Rosh Hashanah is telling us that we've got to be outstanding. In Hebrew, the word for it is kavanah. It means intent. Are we acting with intention? It's what we do when we exercise. If you're trying to lose weight or strengthen your core, you do it with kavanah. With intention, you determine the exercises that will help best. Or when you cook a holiday meal, you set out with kavanah, with that same intention. You want to make the best brisket so that everyone around your table raves about it. The same should be true when we wake up in the morning. What's our goal? What's our intention for the day? Is it just to survive and to make it through another day? Rosh Hashanah is our reminder that we have to wake up with a sense of purpose. We have to wake up with kavanah. We have to ask ourselves, how can I be the best me out there? How can I bring out my strengths and the qualities that make me me? In doing funerals for the past 10 years, I've learned that these are the things that people talk about. Stories that are shared paint a picture of someone's character, of how they treated others, of what they meant to people in their lives. Work or someone's profession is rarely talked about. And when it is, it's often because it exemplifies a person's work ethic or their attributes. It's why, in a way, today is about thinking, how would you describe yourself if you were writing your own eulogy? How would you want others to describe you? It's about who you want to be when you're alive, and then striving for that. It reminds me of a story about Reb Zusha, who was crying on his deathbed at the thought of his fate. His students had surrounded him and were surprised. Trying to calm him, one of them said, "No need to worry. A tzaddik, a righteous person such as yourself, need not be afraid because you're going to go straight to heaven." He had no reason to fear his judgment. Reb Zusha gathered his strength to talk. He turned to his students and said, "I'm not afraid when I arrive in the heavenly court to account for my actions, that they will ask me, 'Why weren't you like Moses or Rabbi Akiva?' I'm worried that they will say to me, 'Why weren't you a Reb Zusha?'" That's the question we're all supposed to be asking ourselves tonight. Am I truly being me? Am I acting with kavanah? Am I acting in a way that allows the values that I want to see in our world and my true identity to shine through? And then, when we realize that we aren't doing that to the best of our ability, it's about figuring out what we need to do in order to change that. How we can alter our thoughts and our actions. How we can transform ourselves. And that's the hardest part, especially for us humans. A contemporary colleague of ours teaches that for nature, birds, and animals, change comes instinctively as they change color or fly south or begin storing food for the winter. But for us humans, it takes an act of will. It requires kavanah. There's no doubt about it. Change is hard for all of us. I think that one of the reasons it's so difficult is because while we know what the end product might look like, we can't clearly see the path to get there. We never define it. We don't think about how we will reach our desired result. There's a lot of ways to do it. Tonight, I want to share just one with you. If you've ever driven between Toledo and Dayton, you know that there's not a lot to listen to on the radio. Maybe that's why on a recent trip I found myself flipping between stations. I'd listen for a bit and then flip to the next one. And as I moved between channels, I found myself listening to more preachers than I could have ever imagined. Between their sermons and the lyrics of uplifting music, it truly was a religious experience as I traveled that 2-hour stretch. And I realized that's the path that we're missing. That's the missing link for many of us on a daily basis. Now, I'm not talking about the Christian rock. I'm talking about Banah, that reminds us of who we are, the presence of Jewish texts in our lives that have the ability to inspire us, that help us think about our values, that shape our beliefs. We don't read like we used to, even us, the people of the book. We're missing the stories that redirect us, that move us to action, that motivate and elevate us as individuals and as a community. So how do we get that? How do we get that Jewish life coach who's going to be that constant reminder in our ear as we travel down the highway of life? There's an easy way, something simple, something that allows you to keep doing what I'm guessing is already a part of your normal routine. Think to yourself for a moment. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing that you do? Some of you might be thinking, I hit the snooze button, and then I hit it again, and again. Or I go to the bathroom, or I get dressed. But I would venture to guess that most of us here, we're like the average American who spends 4 hours a day doing this. First thing we do is that we grab our phones. I want to suggest that our path to our change has us continuing to do just that. Keep grabbing your phone first thing, because I want to take a page out of their playbook, and I want to add kavanah to your routine. Because when we do something with kavanah, we do it for a reason. When you grab your phone in the morning, instead of going to your social media right away or it being the only thing that you read to start your day, bring in some Jewish texts or stories of our people that make you reflect on your life, that make you contemplate the value of your time. Spend a few minutes reading something that brings our values, our ethics, our traditions into your mind. Think about them. Reflect on them. Let them inspire you to think about who you are and the person who you want to be. It'll change your life. And it's what we need. Intention. A life-changing moment, not a Band-Aid. Because maybe one of those texts is something that you use, something that stays with you forever, something that motivates you to be outstanding in your field and allows you to become the best that you can be. You know me. I'm not going to give you homework without suggesting what you should read. There's plenty of e-blasts or books that you can pick up that do this. And if you want to get in touch with me, I'm happy to recommend the one that might be best for you. But I want to share one way that will motivate both of us, both you and me, because I think we're in the same boat. You might not need it, but I do. It's too easy to get distracted in life, to not set aside time to study or to process or to reflect. And so by making a commitment to you, I'm really motivating myself to do the same. My commitment is to send out an email once a week to anyone who signs up for it. Just send me an email or call the office. For those who do, waiting every Monday morning, waiting in your inbox when you wake up, will be some weekly wonder, a Torah text, a Jewish jewel, a motivational maxim, maybe even a meditational mantra that will take you less than 2 minutes to read. These are quick hits. And in our world today, we need quick hits because it's all about making life meaningful and making the moments in it meaningful. In these emails will be a thought, something to help you think about your actions, an idea that I hope inspires you not to win the Nobel Prize, but to take home the Reb Zusha trophy for being outstanding in the field of being you. I look forward to hearing from me next Monday. And Shana Tova.
I've got the power. I've got the tough. I am daring enough to be heard.
I've got the grit. I've got the spark.
I am alive when the world gets dark. Stand up, go be courageous. Be strong, make it contagious. Don't stop. You are the light.
You are the light.
Stand up, go be courageous.
Be strong.
Make it courageous. Be strong. Make it contagious. Don't stop. Don't stop. You are the light. You are the light. Stand up. Oh, be courageous. Be strong. Make it contagious. Don't stop. Don't stop. You are the light. You are the light. Be strong, make it contagious. Don't stop. You are the light.
Sounds like the road from Toledo to Dayton. We continue on page 72 as we rise together for our concluding prayers.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, lateit gedula leoser bereshit, shelo asamer tigoyei harazot, velo zamanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol ha'amonon, va'anafnu koreim umishtachavim umodim b'fneich malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu.
The light of life is a finite flame. Like a candle, life is kindled. It burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades. Its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance, and our lives are full. But as night follows day, the candles of our life burns down in gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness, of death, of light and life. As we prepare to recite the immortal words of the Kaddish, we remember our loved ones who blessed our lives and our people. And we join together in the Kaddish praise, thanking God for the gift of life. Yitgadal, Yitgadash, Shnei Rabba. Belmad, Barach, Yirtei, Amrit, Malchutei. B'chayim chon, B'yom echon, B'chayei Nechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala, U'izman, Karib, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba, Barach, Le'leim, Le'amaya. Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitpahar, Yitramam, Yitnaseh. Yitadar, Yitaled, Yitalal, Shmei, Kedusha, Barichu. Le'ela, Minko, Birchata, V'shirata. Tushbachata, V'nechmata. Damiran, Be'alma, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama, Rabba, Min Shemaya. V'chaim, Aleinu, V'yakol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shalom, V'imra. Uyaseh Shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. The source of peace, send peace to all who mourn. Comfort to all the bereaved among us here and everywhere. As together we say, Amen.
Oh, say,
Shalom V'imra. Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Shalom V'imra. Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru, Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Everyone,
Good Yontif, Rabbi.
I'm just schmoozing. It's all good. Shana Tova, a moment of Tish, and a few things to share. Of course, you can ask a couple questions, and we have an oneg waiting for us in just a moment to enjoy, so don't run out. I have no idea what the weather's doing anyway, so what's the rush? Speaking of the weather, depending on tomorrow, if it's icky, yes, we have shuttles. We can park at Doherty Elementary. We don't want you guys to get too muddy and to wrestle with, the alligators out there in our swamps. So with that in mind, we want to take care of you all. So we'll see how it is tomorrow. I want to thank, of course, everyone who makes our holiday so beautiful, especially our choir this evening. It has grown even more. And our pianist, John, and our flautist, Sarah, Frank. Our soloist, Nathan. And all of our ushers and everyone who helps make this happen. Art Fishman swore to me 3 years ago that was his last year. He said it to me again last week. This is his last year. Who knows? Someone elbowed me when he's clapping. Listen. So it's we'll see how it all comes together. And we're really blessed with a wonderful staff at Temple, supported by our board of directors, our exec committee who's on the Bema. You'll hear from our president tomorrow a little more about what's going on at Temple, so I'll save those surprises for you. But now, a question or two before our Nosh, if you'd like. Yes?
In the Reformed service, you say Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, but in the conservative service, they say Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Why say it?
So that's in Temple Shir Shalom's Reformed service. Other Reformed services do it the same way as a conservative. We did it first. So, in about 30 years ago, let's see, what's the year? No, actually, probably 35 years ago, the Reform movement, the camps actually started adding at the URJ camps women, the matriarchs, to our service. And it was sort of a grassroots thing. And depending where you were, some did Rachel v'Leah, some did Leah Rachel. So we intentionally added it to our prayer book 25 years ago, 23 years ago in that edition for the first time. And we did Leah and Rachel because we did it in the order of the matriarchs and how they come. So Leah was married first, even though Jacob wanted to marry Rachel. He got stuck with the older unmarried sister Leah first. And so that was, the mothers of our tradition. Rachel, of course, gets sort of the priority because of her status with Jacob. And so that's why she's raised in some of the orders. But it's sort of just depending on who's created that. It's a modern innovation, right? The conservative movement, still some synagogues don't do that, right? So it just depends. Yeah. Good question. Other questions? It's hungry. Yes, Sid.
For many years, we had piano via Shelley Barr. I miss her. What happened?
Yeah, we miss her too. Shelley's decided to do other things right now as well. And so with her timing and stuff, it was time for us too. And we're thrilled that we have this new pianist, John, who's been wonderful working with our choir too.
So that you all know, John Bogdan.
John Bogdan, thank you.
Bogdan.
We only use first names here. Sorry, John.
I figured someone would ask me later.
Yes.
This way I took care of it.
Naomi, who wants to know, high school does start next Sunday night from 6 to 8 o'clock. So as you're very excited for that as well, and for any of our freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors who aren't signed up yet, let us rabbis know. We want you there. Was that your question? Oh, sorry.
It's about tomorrow morning at 9:15 to be at the corners to help out with the service for families.
No. Okay.
So year zero, according to Jewish tradition, was day 6 of creation. It was the day that Adam and Eve, human beings, were actually created, and we were there to actually start counting time. And so for those traditionalists that look at it and say, we're in year 5,779, but we don't know what happened during days 1 through 5, that the length of time could have been much longer. And so that's one easy way that we can look at it and say that we know science is correct, and that there are things that are much older than 5,779 years old. But day 6, when human beings were created to keep track of time, that's when we started counting. And the rabbis, about 2,000 years ago, to create that, tried to figure out, they went through all the different parts of the Bible and added up the years of the king's reigns, or the descriptions that were in there that were given different time periods or ages, and that's how we got to 5,779 this year.
So, as you well know, with these 10 days of repentance, so especially for Yom Kippur at the end or in the middle of the day, we have our extended Tish. So we just do a few questions in moments such as this. But the idea for us is that we want to always be learning, engaging, taking your questions, learning with you. And so stick around on Yom Kippur. Start planning your week. Start hydrating now even more every day to get ready for that fast. So you can be in that Tish. Hydration is the key to success. Sorry. It's just a special time for us, but all of our holidays really are, and it's wonderful that we can be here together with all of you. We look forward to continuing our celebration of Rosh Hashanah, and I ask you now to rise for our concluding prayer.
But as you're rising together, as we think of Tish, traditionally a Tish would have a meal with it. And so that reminds us tonight that we don't want you to run to your cars after services. That we want you to stick around, that down in the lobby, we have a wonderful oneg, and we hope that you'll stick around, enjoy a little bit of nosh, and get to know the community that we're a part of.
May God bless you. May God protect you.
May God shine upon you, and may God shine through you.
May God always be a part of who we are, as individuals, as a community, as a congregation. May God, most of all, bless us with shalom, with peace. Amen. Shana Tova, everyone.
Not so bad.